We are discussing gym pet peeves. And considering I'm an ex-PT, I don't care what I say about the fitness industry now. And he's a current PT. He might, but I doubt it.
Oh, yes. I need console for this one. The fact that social media is essentially perpetuated that you can get results pretty much instantaneously now, which is complete nonsense.
Well, you can't.
No, you can't. You're not, okay? And I'm sorry if you don't like it, but you won't, because in 6 weeks, you haven't had enough time for your body to actually change. But secondly, you haven't changed your routine. Because, yeah, okay, you may be going to the gym 3 times a week in those 6 weeks, but you still slap back 2 bottles of wine a week, don't you? Yeah, you do. You still eat those Doritos, don't you? Yes, you do. Almost like I'm talking to myself.
A lot of pain. The most pain that you're going to probably have after any workout, because
You
it's going to
will
be
likely fall down the stairs after a little bit.
an absolute shock to your system. That is normal. Your muscles are basically high-tech elastic bands. And when you train them, you rip them. They then need to recover. That recovery process hurts. The first time you go through this, it's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to ease off over time. An absolute advocate for the cheat day.
Some of us are still living in the big boy era, and some of us basically have a healthy day now. We don't do cheat day. We just do I have your healthy day.
Fair. Bro, I remember you doing like 40 quid just on sushi for yourself.
My guy, you remembered it to the T. My guy. That was a great meal, though.
It traumatized me. And I'm not even there. So what it done to your bowels?
Sushi.
It's your genetics. It's your
Correct.
skeletal frame. What we're talking about here is bone structure.
Correct.
The actual scaffolding of your body. So if you are a ectomorph, you're never going to bulk to an endomorph. You'll look like somebody really juiced up the Michelin Man or something. You just will never look right, even if you manage to get there. Oh, this is so triggering.
But they don't want to believe it. Because they're too busy looking at me and going, yeah, but you're a big guy. I want to be a big guy. Being a big guy. Be you. Just be you, man. You have things I won't ever have. Like, I can see your abs. I hate you. I can see mistakes. I can see heavy breathing and snoring and sleep apnea off. You know what I mean? I can see a terrible hairline and heart disease. But you've got fitness. Look at you go.
Bro, there was times where, like, whether it be through DOMs or just fatigue or just genuine, like, muscle tightness and being muscle bound or whatever else, I was starting to find it hard to wipe my bum. That's not fun. Ready to get the old brains warmed up?
Yeah, boy.
Hypothetical, or did you know?
Go on, hit me.
Hit me, baby, one more time. Hypothetically speaking, if I ain't even got a hypothetical right now, to be fair.
This guy, bro.
If you could go any place in the world at a moment's notice, where would it be?
Right now?
Yeah, literally, if you could pack a bag right now, free flight anywhere you want, one person with you, where you want to go?
Genuinely, off the top of my head, it's not the most glamorous suggestion, but I would probably go Prague with Mrs. just so I can actually learn about it. So I swear. Heritage-wise. They're from the Czechlands. So they'd be more interesting for me right now, off the top of my head.
Fair enough. It's fair. Well, I'll go for a quick one-way trip to Egypt. Just because I've always wanted to go there. So if somebody offered to pay for my ticket, I'm checking out some pyramids.
That's fair.
But I don't know, like, spur of the moment trips are something that they hit different, no? Like, even if there's something small, like around your city or like a city break or whatever else, like just random, like, let's do this, let's have an adventure.
Oh yeah, fair enough, it's different, but also like I've learned recently, like having something to look forward to makes a mad difference as well. Mad difference.
Yeah, I mean that plays onto a lot of
It
life.
helps you grind out like January and stuff like that when you know there's something that you can go, alright, cool, we got that. Like it makes a massive difference.
100%. Right, you want to hit me with your did you know?
Yeah, man, it's a little bit nerdy. So I fell down a little bit of a rabbit hole on your YouTube.
Okay.
Good, as you do, right? Obviously we're London boys, so you're London Underground, right?
Yeah. London Underground.
Fascinating. Do you know when it actually officially opened?
1800s?
So yeah, whereabouts though? It's old. I didn't realize how old it was.
My brain says 1852.
Ooh, 1863. I was close. Mad close. But did you know that actually when it was originally opened, it was basically a whole bunch of different private companies that basically didn't like each other and just tried to fight over land? So it hasn't always been a subsidiary like it is now, where it's like London Transport. Transport to London, sorry.
Mm.
It was actually all private companies that started the underground. They were the ones that done the digging, put the rails in, electrified them, and basically tried to make profit off of it. And originally it was actually bloody steam powered trains, like coal-fired trains underground, which is wild.
I mean, considering I grew up watching Thomas the Tank Engine, like I've always had that kind of fascination with trains or whatever else. But
I've been watching so much stuff about it. My
I
algorithm
thought you was going to say
is
Thomas the Tank Engine then.
no, my algorithm's screwed. It's just trains now. I'm like, oh, lads, like, lads, it's other stuff I like to watch as well. You know what I mean? But it's generally interesting. There's total amount of like distance of all the underground lines, 250 miles.
Hold on, here's a question then. Does the London Underground, so it sounds so stupid even saying it out loud, does it only exist in London? Or does like underground trains throughout the UK?
There's other places on underground trains. Glasgow has a metro.
But like, obviously if you used to go from here to Birmingham, that's going to be overground.
Yeah, that's
But then does Birmingham have their own underground service or Liverpool?
not everywhere does.
Do you see what I'm getting at?
A lot of
And
places it's
they don't all interconnect.
no. So a lot of places it's overhead, but some places do have their own like deep surface like subways.
Mm. See, that's like the kind of beauty when you see about the like homo life in America, where they're just train hopping all across the country,
Yeah.
like because it's all overground.
But yeah, it just blew my mind a little bit. And like, do you know how many stations there are south of the River Thames?
No,
33.
I don't know why that's in it. And somebody's going to turn that into some conspiracy stuff,
But
some masonry.
Considering
Like,
that the total amount of stations is 272. The whole network. 33 is south of the river. That's wild.
yeah,
It's not a conspiracy. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the reason is that the soil quality south of the river isn't great, so it's hard to dig for.
there's
It's
also
fucked up.
33 masons.
It's like
33 steps from the pyramid, bro.
it's wetter and stuff, so it's harder to dig for.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it just blew my mind when I was kind of watching about it. It's like, oh, like it was actually built for greed.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff that is. I see something the other day, and my brain's jumping about on it. But it was something about like a lot of land was privately owned,
Yeah.
and then I think it was to do with like the turn of the industrial age and everything else, when basically farming used to be the like go-to. That's how you got your money. If you had a farm, if you had land, you could make bank, you could hire a crew and everything else. But then when like the industrial age came around and everybody started doing factory work, then it was like, cool, you can get a lot more production in smaller space. So now you don't need as much land.
No.
So then there was a bunch of power shifts and
And then you
everything
actually had
else.
to find a way to get people to those places. So,
Yeah. So then now part of me is thinking, obviously, like part of this underground like rail grab or whatever else, obviously you'd have to own that land in order to be able to tunnel through it,
yeah,
this,
so
that, and
they
everything
basically
else.
bought it out from people and then would just like bore through it. So the other thing as well is it's called the underground, it's called the tube. Only about 40% of it is actually underground. The majority of it is actually overground. It's on level. Especially when you come like out of central London.
Yeah.
So most of the underground is actually just the central London core. Outside of that is actually above ground. Coming out these ways above ground. Like North London's above ground. Further out east and west you go is all above ground.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting to think about. Bro, there is definitely a standard quality between underground and overground trains as well. Like, underground trains, you can tell they're underground.
Yes. Of course you can.
Oh, I remember some of the adventures we used to go on as teenagers and that, getting up to mischief, and like, we'd end up getting on the overground trains to Epping, beating each other with the friggin' cushions off of the friggin' thing, and just seeing the dust come out of every cushion. Like, bro, how we ain't got like 6 fingers on each hand and all of that stuff after that nonsense, I do not know. Anyway, let's go get into this episode. What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Perspective Chasers podcast. I'm your host, John.
I'm a legend.
You're a blueberry. And on this episode, we are discussing gym pet peeves. And considering I'm an ex-PT, I don't care what I say about the fitness industry now. And he's a current PT. He might, but I doubt it. We're going to have some fun with this one because there is a lot of stuff that is put out there that is just designed to make you watch it and waste your time. And it does my nutting. And I'm pretty sure it does your thing too, bro, no?
Yep. Oh, yes. I'm going to be confident for this one.
You're going to relax.
Yeah, man.
So, bro, what is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to gym myths?
I think the biggest one is the fact that social media is essentially perpetuated that you can get results pretty much instantaneously now, which is complete nonsense.
Well, you can't.
No, you can't.
Day one results.
Can't none, man. Even the ones where they're like, oh, get results in 4 to 6 weeks. How much results are you gonna get in 4 to 6 weeks?
None are going to last.
Most people probably haven't even changed routines in 4 to 6 weeks, let alone change anything else. It's wild. It's wild. Like, could you see some potential like beginner gains in 4 to 6 weeks? Yeah, potentially.
But
You could you will most likely see, especially if you do like weightlifting, you will most likely see that you can lift more after 6 weeks than you could at the beginning if you train regularly. Sure. Are you going to see much of a change to your body? No. No, you're not. You're not. Okay? And I'm sorry if you don't like it. But you won't. Because in 6 weeks, you haven't had enough time for your body to actually change. But secondly, you haven't changed your routine. Because, yeah, okay, you may be going to the gym 3 times a week in those 6 weeks, but you still slap back 2 bottles of wine a week, don't you? Yeah, you do. You still eat those Doritos, don't you? Yes, you do. Almost like I'm talking to myself at this point.
I was literally thinking that as you was ranting. I was like, Dave's drinking wine.
I have started drinking wine, actually.
Yeah.
I'm a cultured boy these days, mate. You can tell. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, you haven't had enough time to actually change your life routines, so your body hasn't had the time to change. You're not going to see that many results in 6 weeks. It's a nonsense. Real change would take probably closer to a year.
Right. See, I would say you can get it quicker than a year.
You can, but real, actual, lasting change.
That's different, right? But especially when you first start out, I'll tell you exactly what you can expect. Especially if you've done a decent workout. A lot of pain. The most pain that you're going to probably have after any workout because it's going to be
likely fall down the stairs after a little bit.
An absolute shock to your system. That is normal. Your muscles are basically high-tech elastic bands. And when you train them, you rip them. They then need to recover. That recovery process hurts. The first time you go through this, it's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to ease off over time. You'll also get a pump. This is when your muscles are full of blood and they're swollen because they've been damaged. Like any other damaged tissue. But this makes you feel good. If you've got an arm pump, if you've got a chest pump, a back pump, a booty pump, this makes you feel good. But it don't last forever. It is.
Booty pump is special.
Special level of appreciation for a booty pump. But that will be temporary. It's going to go after the first day, maybe 2 days if you're lucky, if you hold the pump well. Then you just got to recover and ease off. Once you get past that kind of carousel of the first few weeks, then you'll get introduced to my friend lactic acid. And he burns like an absolute beaut when the muscles really get going. And that will break things down even more than just the normal training and tearing will do. But these are stages that you get in over time. You're not going to work yourself to the endurance of mad lactic acid buildup session 1. And if you do, you're probably not going to move the next week or so. I've genuinely seized my arms shut before from doing bicep curls. So again, talking from experience, it is very easy to overdo it. So if you're starting out in the gym, take it easy. Bro, how many times have you had to talk somebody down from how many sessions they wanted to do because it was just illogical?
Too often.
Especially new clients, right?
Yeah. They want to train with you like 2 times a week, then I'm going to do like 4 classes on top, and then they'll come in and say gym on their own. It's just like, you need to chill, man. Sometimes less is more.
And that is going to set me up beautifully for this next point, which I think the world has forgotten. And that is 70% of health and losing weight and fitness and all of that is done in the kitchen, not in the gym. That is 30%. That is a small minority at best. Your recovery, your fueling, your rest, all of that stuff is far more of a proportion than your training. So that even if you are training 5 days a week, but you're eating McDonald's 6 days a week to do that, and you're sleeping 4 hours a night and you're this, that, and everything else, your health overall is going to be awful. I think everybody should look at a really healthy body that has awful insides, because it is an easy misconception that on the other side, people think sumos are incredibly unhealthy, but they get that big from eating quality food. They are athletes in their nation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you was to dissect, say, a fit American or UK person that eats awful processed food and a sumo, their organs are going to be in far better condition than the Western versions. And simply because the way we go about it. So if you're not putting the right stuff in your body to begin with, you're setting yourself up to fail. Imagine putting sugar in your gas tank. How many people, myself included, wakes up and puts sugar in their gas tank? I do.
I mean, it's that big thing, is that you can't out-train bad diet. And that I am physical evidence of that. I'm in the best shape of my life, but I could be way better, but I still eat like trash at times. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Bro,
you cannot out-train a bad diet. You cannot out-train bad sleep. You cannot out-train not recovering. It doesn't matter how hard you train. It will catch you, and you will plateau, and you will not get to where you want to get to. It's just the bottom line. It's science.
Bro, and this is the thing as well, like, how much have we been, in our big boy era, an absolute advocate for the cheat day?
Some of us are still living in the big boy era, and some of us basically have a healthy day now. We don't do cheat day. We just do a happy unhealthy day.
Fair. Right. But that approach to cheat days, right? Bro, I know hands down, my cheat days, I'm done the whole 6 days of trying to be clean. Easy. And then some.
I had some abomination cheat.
Yeah. Bro, I remember you doing like 40 quid just on sushi for yourself.
My guy, you remembered it to the T. My guy. That was a great meal, though.
It traumatized me. And I'm not even there. So what it done to your bowels?
A lot of sushi. I didn't do that much to my bowels, to be fair. Like, sushi ain't actually that bad. But that amount of it is stupid. Like, that's the thing. That wasn't the worst one. The worst one was the 8 donuts from a specific brand in the UK. That's worldwide. They're doing 8, like, and not even just like classic plain ones, just like full on mixture. You're talking about Biscoff ones, apple pie, to the point like I had all 8 in a row and actually physically passed out because I just ingested so much sugar after such a long amount of time working, and I just went later.
Yeah.
Then woke up and went, oh, and then had 2 more.
See, bro, my indulgence was far different than that. Like, do you remember the times when I turned like a whole tiger loaf into one sandwich for myself?
Yeah, the one thing is we used to justify.
Yeah. That one sandwich could have fed a family of 4 for a week. And I'm like, cheat day, bro.
That looks a bit expensive. I would justify this, bro, because it's carbs, I get it, but actually it's quite a lot of protein.
And meat. And just cheese and yum.
Really? That's what you're gonna go? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna... That's the and, yeah. That fits nicely. Protein does my head.
Go for it.
Does my head. Everyone is so infatuated by the word protein.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing that annoys me is most people probably don't know what the hell it does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in everything.
Mm-hmm.
To the point now that companies are extorting people on this.
It's a trigger word, bro.
It's a trigger word. And also, there's companies making cash on the back of this because people are stupid enough to go and buy it.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to go on my usual rant?
Bro. A yogurt doesn't need to have 30 grams of protein. If you want 30 grams of protein, eat a steak. Eat a tuna steak. Or if you're vegetarian, eat some tofu. I don't know. But you don't need 30 grams of protein in a yogurt. Like, it's just so unnecessary, man. Like, you do not need that amount of protein in a yogurt. And this is the thing. People fall for this trap all the time, and I've fallen for it at points, but then I'm a lot more cognizant of what I'm doing. And if I get them, it's just because I'm like, I just want something to fuel my day. You don't need to fall for the protein trap. If you're just starting out in the gym, if you're just starting on your fitness journey, the last thing you need to obsess over is how much protein you're getting in your day. You do not need 500 grams of protein in your day. You do not need 200 grams of protein in your day, realistically. If you're just starting out, It's the one thing you do not need to obsess over. What you should be obsessing over is how much sugar do I consume? What kind of carbohydrates am I consuming? What are the fats I'm consuming? Not how much
Do you know
protein am
what?
I getting into my day. Like,
I'd
it's
even
just
disagree with you there. One sec. I would say for your first 6, 12 weeks, maybe even first 6 months, ignore macros. Ignore fats, carbohydrates, friggin' sugar. Ignore all of that and just focus on showing up. Don't overcomplicate it. Just make sure you can actually do the task at hand. Show up to the gym and build that routine because you know yourself, when you've done a good workout, you don't want that Mackies. You want to actually eat some good food or whatever else. But that comes in over time. If you overcomplicate it too soon, I reckon people are like disheartening themselves and putting themselves off when they really don't need to. Because, like we were saying in the beginning, your first 12 weeks, you ain't seeing any lasting change. Your first 6 months, you're not really seeing no lasting change. First year, you maybe getting towards that stage where you're building some lasting change and some consistency. Then start looking at your macros and start tightening things up and everything
if I'm
else.
honest, I would just say, like, when you're first starting out, the best advice I can give you kitchen-wise is just chase the hunger. Get used to being hungry now and then. Because we live in a society where we don't know what being hungry is anymore because everything's too convenient. The minute you think, oh, I'm hungry, you eat. Well, you're thinking that you're hungry. You don't know it. Actually, listen to what your body tells you and actually get used to feeling hungry a little bit. No,
I
don't
mean,
starve yourself. But actually, if you think, oh, I'm proper hungry, okay,
bro,
well, then go have a meal. But you know, don't have a meal to the point where it's excessive and you're just laying
not
there going, oh,
not even,
destroyed.
you know.
Like, change the feeling, man. Change the hunger.
I'm sitting here thinking back to my childhood, yeah, and I remember when I was like used to moan to my mum, I'm hungry. She's like, have a drink first, have a glass of water or something, and see if you're still hungry after that. Because you're probably not. Like, you're probably just feeling a little bit empty, or you're bored, or whatever else. Do you know what I mean? Like, but again, everybody goes, oh, I feel hungry. That's uncomfortable. I don't want to be uncomfortable. Let me whack food in my face, this and everything else. And things are so calorie dense. Like, bro, through no time in previous history have calories been as easy to get as they are now.
I don't. I think there's so many people out there, and I'm guilty of this, and it's something I'm learning recently. There'll be so many people out there that don't actually know what their body feels like when it naturally goes, "Oh, I'm empty."
Mm-hmm.
I don't think many people understand how that dip in energy works to the point that when you actually have a meal, you then bounce back up because that's what your body needed.
Yeah.
Because we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it too. We start our day by pumping caffeine into our body, so you have an artificial high. You have that artificial pop up, right? Even though caffeine is a fairly natural ingredient, but still, or byproduct. But you don't wake into your day anymore.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have a good 8 hour sleep and then kind of have that grogginess for an hour because, oh, I'm waking up. To then realize your body will then start to kick in and go, cool. We've had our breakfast, we've had our sleep. I'm now good to go for X amount of hours.
See, I think,
And that kind of slump you have when you're actually like, oh, I do need to get something in my system because it's crashing. We start to detect that. We don't actually allow it to happen. So when we detect it, what do? Caffeine. I need caffeine. Okay. Caffeine pops us back up again. So we're constantly kind of riding that wave up there instead of actually just kind of going, cool, this is my natural high. I've eaten my breakfast. I've had my oats or whatever it is. I've had my sleep. So now I'm going to ride up. And I'm going to keep that going. And then, oh, it's coming to lunch. I'm starting to dip. But it starts to dip a touch and we immediately go into DEFCON 5 of must maintain, must maintain. Whereas actually, if you push through a little bit more and just use your body, you're going to come down a bit more. And that's when you go, ah,
bro,
what do I need right now? Because
I
I
want,
feel like I'm hitting a wall. Well, actually, if I have a pretty decent lunch, it's probably going to pop me back up again. Yeah, it will.
bro, it's not just that, yeah. I'm genuinely wondering how many people know about that feeling of forgetting that you was hungry. Like when you get like if you're caught up in a project or you're doing something or whatever else, and you're like, oh damn, I haven't eaten all day. Like I do that constantly. But when you was talking now, I was just thinking about like now this is tying into how kind of your own personal fitness and dietary requirements fits into the broader scheme of society, which is that when you're working a 9 to 5 job and you've got to get public transport here and you've got to rush for this and rush for that, you don't have a full hour to let your body wake up and everything to come online and this, that, and everything else. So you force it to come online with coffee, with caffeine, with energy drinks, with whatever it is. And all of these other things are just forcing yourself into this box of society. And everybody does it. And we feel absolutely awful for it because none of us are contortionists, but all of us are in this box. And it is infuriating.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you actually slow down and start paying attention to it, you can start unpacking that box. But you have to slow down to do it. And you have to sit there and be, like you're saying, when am I hungry? And am I actually hungry? Am I bored? Am I thirsty? Am I dehydrated? Am I X, Y, Z and beyond? There's so many elements to check on before you just go, oh, I need to nullify the pain.
I'm going to tie this into my last pet peeve because I know you've got one more. And it's a secondary attachment to the trigger word protein.
Go on.
The second biggest trigger word in the fitness world. Supplementation. You don't need supplements when you're just starting. You don't need them. You don't need protein powders. You don't need creatine powders. You don't need BCAAs. Don't. No. You don't need them. Because until you have an actual balanced diet, you don't need any of it. You use that way down the line. If you are just chasing better health, or you want to lose a few pounds, or you just want to feel better in yourself, you do not need protein powders. You do not need amino acids to do that. You just need movement and a bit of an improved diet. That is what you need to chase those things. If you then do that and you think, do you know what? I do want 10% body fat and I want to be muscular as hell, then maybe you will need some supplementation down the line because it's quite hard to do, right? But if you're just chasing very generic goals, and I don't mean it in a nasty way, that's a positive thing, because most of us will fit into the same bracket of, I just want to feel better. You don't need supplementation to feel better. And that's a hill I will die on. I do not care how much money that industry makes. I will die on that hill alone because you don't need them. Everyone is trying to sell you something. Everyone is trying to sell you their supplements or their training plan. And if they're not trying to sell you those, they're trying to sell you their latest t-shirt.
This episode sponsored by
no one! Literally. So you don't need that crap. And that's why the protein word annoys me so much. Because when you go into a supermarket and you see protein yogurt, it's just them trying to offer you supplementation.
Yeah, it's a trigger word.
Don't need supplementation. People forget this. Like, if something's advertising as a meal replacement, you should run away from that immediately. You shouldn't be replacing meals. But if something is like, oh, extra this, extra that, you don't need it. I've fallen for this trap too many times. You do not need it. If you need some supplementation, it might be that you need some vitamins. Now, that one, I would be like, yeah, it's a bit more fair game. Especially if you live in somewhere like the UK. You don't get a lot of sunlight in the 6 months of winter and autumn. So maybe you do need to actually try and bring some balance into that department. Fine. Speak to your doctor. Get your blood work done if you really want to be technical, because that will tell you if you need to supplement those. Maybe you need some iron because you're slightly anemic. They are all fair game. They are all very essential things. But you don't need protein shakes when it's your first day in the goddamn gym. And if you get creatine in your first week in the gym, have a look, man. Serious. Because there's a high chance you don't even know what it does. You just think it's good, but you don't know what it does. And you'll weigh yourself in 2 weeks' time after dosing your health to creatine. You go, why do I weigh more? Well, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. I've been busting my ass off for 6 days a week for 3 days. I'm 5 pounds, bro. Tell me. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. I could take a creatine.
I'm going to take that touch as a literal tag in because I've been biting my tongue while you've been ranting on this thing because I'm like, there's so much I hate about this industry. Right. Supplement point number 1. If you can get equal to or thereabouts from a natural food source, pick the food, not the supplement. Number 2. Supplements are to boost what you naturally get in your diet, not to replace it. Anything, as Dave says meal replacement or have this instead of your food. Chuck it in the bin. When it comes to food and nutrition, your body is a machine. So if it's got something that is processed with 1,000 ingredients that it has to decode, decipher, to break down and everything else, it's going to take it 3 to 5 working days to just even move through your system.
That's not that postal service.
Literally. You want to hope it's not a bank holiday. So all of these various aspects contribute. So if you're having natural food that your body knows and recognizes what to do, eating simply, not overeating. It's so easy to overeat when you're eating processed food. Here's a little mental life thing that you can do. Go get a Mars bar, check the calories on it. Off the top of my head, it's about 276 kcal per little bar of chocolate. That's also a similar amount of calories in a chicken Caesar salad. What's going to fill you up more? You're not going to feel like you had lunch if you have a Mars bar, but you're going to feel like you've had lunch if you have a chicken Caesar salad. But all of these are little things that you can tweak around your life and actually realize where you're just being so ignorant and blind and just taking somebody else's word for it and not doing your own research. Look at the foods that you're eating, what's actually inside them before you're like, I need more of this. Because if you need more of that, chances are what you're already having isn't giving it to you. So why are you having it? That pizza does not have any nutrients in it whatsoever. It might fill the hole, but it's not going to help your body in any way. So look at what you're putting into your body. Don't expect to be getting nutrients out of eating cardboard. It's just not going to happen. And then I'm going to finish with my last rant, which is this FUPA nonsense, or however you say it, or do this exercise to burn fat from this place of your body. You cannot choose where your body burns fat from. You are genetically predisposed to store fat in different places. We all are. Some people store fat more on their chest. Some people store it more on their arms and legs. Some people store it more around the bottom of their belly. Everybody is different. The one rule you can apply to is the first place it goes on is probably the last place it's going to come off, which means for a lot of us, that's the bottom of the belly and the inside of the legs, maybe the back of the arms. That's annoying. But doing weights exercises or any type of exercise to try to burn that fat, it ain't going to happen. It doesn't work like that. Okay. Yes, you can build the muscle underneath. That's getting into dispersing the area and spreading out that fat. That's not removing it. If you've got flabby backs of your arms and you build a decent tricep, well, that tricep goes from being stick thin and supporting nothing to being as thick as your arm and actually redistributing that fat, which makes you look healthier, look fuller, and you carry that weight better. It doesn't burn the fat that was there. It restructures it, which gets into body composition, which will change when you get to that about year mark, or depending on how you're training, maybe a little bit closer to the 6-month mark, but it comes over time. So put in that time. Don't fall for the quick workout, the quick diets. Oh, diets. I'm going to go on another tangent if I don't stop myself.
You've already triggered me into my next one. Thanks.
I'll throw the ball to Dave in a sec for that. But all of these various aspects are buy this and fix this and da-da-da. Look, try the hard way. It's not pretty, but I guarantee you, you're set far more for success than if you try 100 of the easy ways. Over to you, big homie.
Skinny dude's telling me it's bulking season.
Oh.
Does my head in, bro. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The homie with the marathon runner build that comes up to you and goes, yeah, man, it's bulking season, innit? No, it's not. It's not. Because genetically, it's not going to work like that for you.
Oh.
Like, he said body composition. This is a really big thing, and it's not so much for newer people, but way down the line. You have body types. They are genetically, it's a genetic lottery. You are going to get one of 3 body types, right? You are one of the 3. It is that bloody simple, I'm afraid. That's humans for you.
I'm going to build on that, right? Because as far as I understand it, and I always preach it, that is a spectrum, right? So you've got endomorph this side, you've got
We are the fridge.
You've got
the big square. Sorry,
you've got the endomorph this end, you've got the mesomorph in the middle, and then you've got an ectomorph at the other end.
Marathon runners.
You fall somewhere along that line. So you could be in between a meso and an ecto, or in between a meso and an endo. Like, you don't have to be completely one, but you cannot flip-flop from one to the other. It's your genetics. It's your
Correct.
skeletal frame. What we're talking about here is bone structure.
Correct.
The actual scaffolding of your body. So if you are a ectomorph, you're never going to bulk to an endomorph. You'll look like somebody bloody juiced up the Michelin Man or something. You just will never look right, even if you manage to get there. But yeah, sorry, go on.
So this is the thing.
Oh, this is so triggering.
So it really annoys me because it's heartbreaking, quite frankly, right? I see especially a lot of the people younger than me who are more towards that ectomorph style. So they're naturally very lean. They naturally have very long limbs. Genetically, you are not going to look how someone like me could look if I really went to the extreme. You are not going to have that massive taper on your back. You are not going to have 22-inch arms. You are not going to be Arnold. You know what I mean? You're not going to be a Mr. Olympia or whatever you want to be, right? And that shouldn't be the focus because it takes the shine away from what you are. And the thing I notice with a lot of these guys who are like that is power-wise, they're actually really good. And in terms of power, they're probably stronger than me, pound for pound. But they don't want to believe it. Because they're too busy looking at me and going, yeah, but you're a big guy. I want to be a big guy. Being a big guy. Be you. Just be you, man. Because if you're lifting your own body weight on a deadlift, guess what? That's pretty incredible. Well done. Because not a lot of people can do that. You can bench press your own weight. Well done. Because for me, that's bloody hard work. I'm 120 kilos. You know how hard it is to bench my own weight? But you're out here doing it. That's incredible, man. Like, keep doing your thing, man. Focus on the good part. Stop trying to be other people. Just be you, because you have things I won't ever have. Like, I can see your abs. I hate you.
This is
Because
what
I can see regret. I can see mistakes. I can see heavy breathing and snoring and sleep apnea. You know what I mean? I can see a terrible hairline and heart disease. But you've got fitness. Look at you go. Yeah, but bro, like, you could bench 100. So? I'm going to be dead at 50. It doesn't matter.
The thing is as well, like, I think this comes into that kind of like grass is always greener mentality.
100%.
Like, bro, when I was in the heart of my training, I genuinely wanted to get as big as humanly possible, right? But it become inconvenient. And like, I never got into the point of doing juice or anything like that. But bro, if I would have done that, it would have got even more out of hand. And like, bro, there was times where like, whether it be through DOMs or just fatigue or just genuine like muscle tightness and being muscle bound or whatever else, I was starting to find it hard to wipe my bum. That's not fun. Like, if you're an agile person and everything else, enjoy that. Like, there are times I look at strongman and like those big bodybuilder dudes now so much differently than I ever used to. Like, there was a time where it's like, oh yeah, cool, I want to get there. But now it's more like, I can see the reality side of those things. And like I say, I never truly got there or whatever else, but I thought I got to a decent size for what I was, do you know what I mean? Like, what biggest I was 125, 130 kilos or something. That's a lot of dude. Like, considering now I can jump on the scales and come in at under 95, I've lost 30 kilos. That's what? Now I'm 25% of my body weight. Like, I'm a quarter less of a human than I was a few years back. That's a lot to lose.
Oh, yeah.
So then, when you hear about some dude being like, oh, I want to gain X amount or whatever else, it's like, bro, do you know what that comes with? Like you said, sleep apnea, not seeing your toes, freaking this, that, and everything else. Like,
Bear shrinkage.
oh my, bro.
Bear shrinkage.
Okay, I wasn't gonna, but now I'm gonna put this online because you literally just set me up for it, This is a hack for any big dude out there. Lose an inch from your waist, gain similar below the waist. If that isn't motivation to get your ass in the gym, I do not know what is. Okay? Every man would give his left arm 4 extra inch. So you can get it. You've just got to put in a little bit of work. It's out there. It's there for you. Like, I could get so descriptive with this and tell you how to find it and really wind you up.
Let's just say you can go from not seeing it in your hand to being able to see it in your hand. Now imagine how it looks in her hand, or his hand,
or mouth,
or their hand, whatever way you want to go. Really, that's free will. Do what you want. But you get my point, you know.
So do
You
yourself
have Donald
a
Trump
favor.
hands, like small hands. You're a little fucking gangster.
You know, apparently he doesn't actually have small hands. That's just something everybody always says to kind of like undermine him.
I didn't care. I just thought I'd throw it out there for the fun of it.
Fair enough. But yeah, like there are many benefits. So if you are a big dude, and look, if you're a bigger woman or whatever else, there are benefits to you as well. I can't specifically speak for them in terms of like performance wise, but I can tell you I'm more attractive off the bat,
I mean, physically, the back would probably improve.
more shapely.
Yeah. It'd probably be easier to carry certain things around.
You're easier to carry. I mean, women like to be picked up, no?
Yeet, yeet.
Exactly.
Yeet.
You want to see the right side of a wall? Yeet yeet.
Get a clown like me come on going, you're chocolate.
Look, there are so
I'm in a very
many
loving
benefits.
relationship, okay? Don't come at me.
We mean this in the nicest of ways.
Don't come at me.
Yeah, like there are
Yeet.
so many benefits to like again like the mental side of things, like how good you feel after a solid workout and everything else. But if you're listening to all of these myths and like thinking like, oh, I've been going to the gym 2 weeks, why ain't I got results? Because I don't know, Dumbbell Dan tells me that I should friggin' do this, that, or whatever else, and I'll get results or whatever. Like, no, like, actually find out for yourself. Listen to your body. Find out what you actually respond to. Find out your body type. Find out what food you respond well to. What food you respond bad to. Like, I know there are certain foods that I eat. If I eat too much of them, or even a little bit of them, it sends my stomach just freaking nuts.
Hope it's a trap door for me.
So I literally just leave them. Like, listen to your body and don't just be like, oh, cool, I'm going to take this tablet so I can still eat this food. So, bro, it's clearly bad for you. So don't do that. Like, don't slap a Band-Aid over it so you can still slap it in your gob. Like, actually be like, okay, I can't have this. Like, I don't understand that. Oh my God. Bro, this one is set for so many rants because now I'm just like, bro, I could rant about the like replica food or that. Just like, bro, if you don't want to eat a sausage, don't make fake hot dogs. Like, just
yeah.
That does, but yeah,
Oh, it might have to be the big day takeover coming soon as we just rant.
Yeah,
just a rant episode.
There'll be a lot to rant.
Just gonna roll and just be like, it's just confession time. Let's just get off my chest. What annoys you?
Oh,
this episode is 1 hour long.
Yeah, bro, that would be like a week upload.
Bumper bonus episode for you guys. It's coming. It's gonna happen.
That is nuts.
Just gonna walk in with a beer and be like, alright, mate, time to get off your chest.
Crack it open. Is there any more you want to get off your chest before we wrap this? I mean, I know we're going to probably revisit this at some point. But
we'll come back to this, don't you worry about that. Nah, for now, there's nothing else, man. Just, if you want to make some changes and get in the gym, good for you. Celebrate that, focus on yourself, and remember that comparison is a thief of joy. Do your thing. Be proud that you're actually getting in there. Most people will be proud with you and will leave you to your own thing. We just want to see people change. We want to see people having a good time. Get yourself moving.
Nice. The seed for this episode is going to be don't take somebody else's word. Find out for yourself. Whether that means trying a workout or investing 6 weeks in figuring something out or going to the doctor and actually getting your blood work checked and seeing if you do actually need vitamins or if it's just another fad. Like, actually do some due diligence. Don't just take people's word for it in any vein of life. Like, don't just jump when somebody says jump. Ask why. But do more backstopping in your life, man. Don't just float around in the breeze. Like, have some intention, have some self-respect in that sense. Like, don't just follow what people say. Appreciate yourself and think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. All the best, and we'll catch you on the next one.